Welcome to the Black Empowerment Hub podcast. We aim to ensure community voices are heard, celebrated, and amplified. I'm your host, Jacqueline Malone, CEO of Blind Resistance Clothing Brand, where our tagline for the culture by the culture represents our commitment to empowerment, sustainability, and uplifting underserved Black communities. Thank you for tuning in. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay updated on future episodes. Today on the Black Empowerment Hub podcast, we spotlight the leaders, change makers, and visionaries driving progress in our communities. David A. Sanders, president of the iconic Malcolm X College in Chicago, will join us after this short message.
This episode is brought to you by the Support Black Excellence Foundation and their Support Excellence Initiative. At the Support Black Excellence Foundation, we're on a mission to foster a brighter future for all, particularly in underserved Black communities. Through strategic partnerships, mentorship programs, community service projects, and financial initiatives, we are committed to driving meaningful change where it's needed most. We invite you to join us in this remarkable journey of progress and transformation. Together, we can turn our vision into a reality. Let's shape a future that is equitable and inclusive, where empowerment, elevation, and excellence intersect to create a legacy of positive change. Thank you to the Support Black Excellence Foundation and their Support Excellence Initiative for sponsoring this podcast.
Welcome back to the Black Empowerment Hub podcast. Today, we are honored to have David A. Sanders, president of Malcolm X College at City Colleges of Chicago. Under his visionary leadership, Malcolm X College has become a beacon of innovation and opportunity, serving over 12,000 students and nearly 1,000 employees. Mr. Sanders oversees a multi-million-dollar budget while driving remarkable achievements. These include operating Illinois' top-rated associate degree in nursing program and spearheading transformative initiatives like the Workforce Equity Initiative. As a trailblazer in higher education, David was named a recipient of the 2025 Chicago Titan 100, a prestigious list of Chicago's top executives. President Sanders has guided Malcolm X College through significant achievements, including operationalizing a state-of-the-art campus and groundbreaking the renovation of the Malcolm X College West Campus facility, projects that redefine education and uplift the surrounding community. Let's welcome David A. Sanders, a true leader in education and community transformation. Welcome, David.
Well, thank you, Jacqueline. So glad to be here with you today.
David, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. And I have a fun opening question to start our conversation.
Sure.
If you could sit down for a conversation with Malcolm X himself, what one piece of advice would you ask for to guide your work as president of Malcolm X College?
You know, Malcolm X was such an iconic leader and such an influential force in the land that he almost seemed mystical, right? I think my question would be, outside of being your authentic self, which I know is really, really important, what would you do to ensure you gain the trust of the individuals that you seek to help and to lead? Because I think that's one of the most difficult things that I find in this job, is that so many things have happened to so many people in our populations that have made them believe that you can't trust everyone, and become jaded about initiatives that seek to help them. And so how do you overcome that? How do you ensure that people understand that you mean to support them and that you're going to see it all the way through to the end?
That's wonderful. A great question to ask. Let's move a little into your career path and leadership. What inspired you to pursue a career in education and ultimately become the president of Malcolm X College?
Well, I'm going to share this because I don't think people know this, that I really was not trying to become the president of Malcolm X. nor was I trying to get into education. I actually had a firm, or still have a firm, that had age receivables of over six figures and over 6 months. And my wife was going to work, and people weren't paying me. So I said, I got to get into the workforce. And, saw an opening. Actually, it was started at Kennedy King College as the auxiliary director there. And it's just been a whirlwind. And I fell in love with education. This is actually my fourth career, but I must say that it is the best of all the pathways that I've taken in life. The ability to impact not only the tremendous students that we have, but the communities and the people that we serve on an everyday basis. It's my assignment, and I love it.
Wow. It's so interesting because I think God rerouted you to where your purpose really was. And so he closed that window for you to make that money so that you can reroute into education. It's really interesting. So we face challenges from time to time in our careers. I look at challenges as opportunities for positive growth. Looking back on your career, what has been the most rewarding challenge you faced as a leader in higher education?
I think everyone has to understand that if you're going to be a leader in any sector and in any market, you're going to have detractors, you're going to have difficulty, you're going to have obstacles, right? And as I said, I wasn't pursuing being a president. I really was focused on just doing a great job, and had the opportunity to build Malcolm X. And I guess they saw enough in me to ask me to then, become, at that time, the interim leader in 2015. And, there was this goal for Malcolm X to become the Mecca for healthcare in community colleges in the city of Chicago. And we are the center of excellence in healthcare. But we really wanted to ensure the success. And when I came in the door, our nursing program was in trouble. And there were all kinds of people trying to advise me on which path to go as I'm walking in the door. I mean, I'm getting calls all over the place with people telling me what to do. And, I took the advice, I listened, but then I evaluated, and I determined that there was a path for us. We didn't have to start from scratch, as some were advising, that we needed to work with our creditors. I had assessed our faculty, and I knew we had great faculty. I assessed our curriculum. I knew that the curriculum was good. So we just needed to get to a position where we could address some of the concerns that they had. And I talked to our creditors, and in 6 months, we addressed all of the issues. Malcolm X was fully credited. We had students that were coming over from other colleges because, we got this Center of Excellence in Healthcare, and every single student came into an accredited program that was doing well. And I think that was the centerpiece accomplishment that really said to me, okay, you're in the right place. You're doing the right thing, right? Because you need to have a win. And that was my first big win. And then it began to cascade from there.
Wow. And what a win it was. I mean, usually when you join a company, everyone's looking for the quick win, that first quick win, but yours was really grand. And so you dug them out of that hole that they were in, which is an amazing accomplishment for someone walking through the door to be able to do that within 6 months. That's incredible work. So that says a lot about you and why you're actually in this position you're in now. Malcolm X College has long been a beacon of hope and opportunity in Chicago. How does its mission align with advancing workforce equity, healthcare training, and community empowerment?
Obviously, the district has a lot of strategic levers and things like that, and equity is, at the forefront of everything we're doing. I think people don't really understand what that means, and I think it's important that people know that equity just means giving people what they need at that time in order to be on par with everyone else. And that's going to be different from person to person. There are two things that community colleges do really, really well, right? One of them is prepare students for the workforce, right? And then the second one is to transfer to a four-year university. And from the very beginning, that has been our focus. We looked at the market and we determined the sectors where the jobs weren't already being filled by, community colleges or university or other colleges, uh, but there were organic jobs that nobody was filling, that is going to be available to the populace. And we also wanted to make sure that they were going to receive a living wage. So we went through a massive work effort to look at every single discipline that we had, every single career pathway, and make sure that it met that criteria. We even began to develop short-term programs, because as we looked at research was telling us that it wasn't intelligence or that was causing students to fail predominantly. It was life events. Things were happening in their lives. And they were taking care of parents, or there was a death in the family, or they had kids, or they lost a job. Something happened that impacted their education, even though they had started. So how do we get them to a credential quicker, right? They don't have 2 years. How can we get that to them in that first semester? If you look at our data, you'll see that our short-term certificates shot up dramatically, because we focused on ensuring that when you came here, you could get a credential that's going to get you out of poverty and have the American dream. And that's really our goal. And we're continuing down that pathway with what we're doing. And, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and I can relate to all of that, especially those reasonings that you gave. I've been in every single one of those situations, and I can remember being in a four-year college, and my mom was sick with congestive heart failure, and I had to go through taking care of her and had to leave school because of it. And then I had these mounting bills, and what actually saved me, I ended up going into project management, but I actually did a certificate class to go through that process and got my license, and ended up going back to school to get my bachelor's and everything. But still, I had to go through that flux of up and downs, and it's pretty difficult when you're going through that.
If I can add on, what we did is we made them stackable. So you could start by getting that basic certificate, but then you'd have the path to go to an advanced certificate. So if you needed to, what we call stop out, you needed to take an off ramp and go to work for a little while. I got to make some money, right? Then you can come right back and pick up where you left off, go to that next credential, and then you can either go back to work and now you qualify for, a higher salary, higher responsibility, or you could go and complete that degree pathway, because you can't dictate people's lives. Before it was kind of, we're making you fit into a square hole. But you're round and you don't quite fit, right? So we needed to ensure that we were adaptable to people, that we allowed them the flexibility to go at their own pace and achieve what they needed to achieve, so that they could live and then always have the ability to come back and pick up where they left off.
I know that it is such a great help to so many people. Thank you for that. So let's move to the West Campus Learning Center and community partnerships. I was honored to attend the groundbreaking ceremony to renovate the Malcolm X College West Campus facility. And this is an absolute significant development for Malcolm X College and the surrounding community. Can you share the vision behind the renovation and the unique features students and the community can expect?
Sure. First of all, I must say that every one of my employees and faculty and staff, this is the transformation that we had to make. We believe in every student that walks through our door. What I tell them all the time is, you were touched with hands that have miracles in them. So that means miracles are possible for you. And without that mindset, you don't create an environment where people feel that you care and that you believe in them. There's so many of our students who've gone through situations, who have been conditioned to believe that they're not worthy of an education or a great education, that it's impossible for them to be successful because of their background or their parents or the locale from which they came. All of those people say are impediments that stop you from being successful. And I say, get out of here. We don't believe that. Every single student can learn and can be successful. And so that was the first thing that we all had to come to coalesce around and say, that's the environment we must have. And so we try to make our environments warm and inviting and reflective of what you can accomplish. So when you come to the main campus, you see this sprawling facility with these cathedral ceilings and all of this, stuff that's there that lets you know that you're in a world-class facility. Why? Because we believe that world-class is in you. And so you have to present that to people. You have to let them know that they're worth and they're worthy of what you are providing for them. So that was the mindset that we had when we thought about Malcolm X College West Campus. It was an old jewel building many, many moons ago. There were thousands of students that were going at that time. But, as time goes on, the building has aged and it really wasn't reflective of the best that we had to offer that community. And that community has not had investments in over 30 years. Wow. There's been a tremendous disinvestment in that Austin West Garfield community. And we're seeing that, with, you look at the data, it says there's a 25% unemployment rate. We needed to impact that. And so in my mind, the first thing that we have to do is we have to develop a facility that's reflective of the greatness that's within the people that live in that area. And we did that. When the Chancellor Juan Salgado came in, I met him on his first day. And I was like, hey, man, I need to take you out to a place. You got to come with me. I got to show you something. I need some investment, man. And he was like, okay. So literally put him in the car, drove him out to Malcolm X College West Campus. At that time it was called Westside Learning Center, and say, hey, look at this place. We got to do something here. And he gave us $1 million to invest there. And we built 2 new classrooms, lab spaces, so that we could have biology classes there, chemistry classes there, the sciences, the life sciences. And so we wanted to make sure that we were delivering the best facilities to the people there. But $1 million wasn't enough to really encapsulate what we need to do there. The state is doing its best. We have a great governor, from my perspective, who has been an advocate for education. He has certainly invested millions and millions of dollars in education every single year, and we can't thank him enough for that. But we knew that even with all of those investments, it wasn't going to be enough in order for us to do what we needed to do at Malcolm X College West Campus. So for 4 years, and again, I got to thank Chancellor Salgado, who allowed me the ability to go to Springfield. I kept going to Springfield, 4 years in a row. And, I'd walk in the door and they say, oh, man, here comes Sanders. Because, you have to make people understand the necessity to invest and the prioritization to invest in people that have such a tremendous upside, but they just haven't received the investments. Yes. And so I just kept coming until and made friends with LaShawn Ford. He said, man, I'm going to get you your money. And Jahario Williams, these are wonderful people. Patricia Van Pelt, who's no longer the senator, but was so instrumental in making this happen. And ultimately, they ended up giving us $14 million for Malcolm X College West Campus. And that's how we got to this groundbreaking ceremony. Again, the chancellor is stepping in with the balance, the difference. And we're going to have some tremendous opportunities for the residents of the West Garfield and Austin community right there in their community in a facility that is going to mirror what we've done at Malcolm X College.
That's so amazing. That story is really great. And I love how you were determined to pretty much kick that door down. Tell them, you're going to listen to me. I'm going to be back here next year too, to tell you how important this is. And I love how you are really thinking about the people and what they need. That is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I have a foundation too that supports this podcast, and that is our thing is about the people. How can we help them? And so let's talk about that renovation a little more. How do you expect it to expand, not just for the students but the rest of the community?
Well, really, it's going to provide a tremendous foundation for some of what we call CTE, career and technical education programs that we're going to have there. When we came to Malcolm X College West Campus back in 2016, there was only really two big programs that were there. There was basic nursing assistance, and then there was our adult education program. That was pretty much it. Now we have English, math, science courses. As I said, bio, we have chemistry, we have medical assisting, we have community health worker, we have our EMT program, the emergency medical technician program. We have basic nursing assistants there. We've got all of the phases of adult ed now. And all those programs have short-term certificates. There's ability to get that short-term certificate so that within one semester, we can get you to a job right now paying on average about $40,000 up to 60, and some of them are moving into $70,000 pay in one semester, right? So that's the key, is that we're bringing those opportunities to the community. And so when you think about this, education is critical because education is transformative. In fact, the data shows that in every ward where education is high, crime is lower, and salaries are higher, right? In every ward except one. It's Brighton Park. It's because the residents decided we're going to control what happens here. But in every ward, education, the increase in education has a transformative impact on that community. And that's what we want. We want those communities to realize the greatness that's in them, to realize that they can be whatever they want to be, that there's nothing that stops them from success. We have a workforce equity initiative that allows students that don't have any money to be able to pay for the tuition. If they get full funding, they get $1,000 to use whatever way they need to use it. And then they get another $300 for books. And we have been in the top 3 in the state in that program for the last 5 years. So there's no barrier. It's paid for. Your education is paid for. I wish they had that when I was going to school, but they didn't have it then. But we're removing barriers. We're removing obstacles. We have wellness centers that allow them to have access to mental health services. We have a partnership with the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository to allow students access to food so that food is not a barrier to their success. We're addressing those elements on an everyday basis to ensure that every student that walks across our threshold know that we are there for your success, and we're going to remove everything we can to ensure that you achieve your objective.
Wow, David, this is really great. It really is. And I'm so glad you're on this podcast because in hearing this story and these offerings, really want to push and promote Malcolm X College and what you're doing. I also want to bring up some of the other individuals that also are helping Malcolm X College. I do want to bring up the support of Mayor Brandon Johnson and also local community leaders like Alderman Jason Irving and his wife, City Treasurer Melissa Conyers Irving as well. They played a role in the Malcolm X College West Campus renovation too, of getting that started. I just want to make mention of their names because I think they're important entities for that sector in which Malcolm X sits right now. How have partnerships and organizations like Westside United amplified the workforce programs?
Well, look, I told you I didn't come into this trying to be the president, right? So, anything that I do, I want it to be great. I want to do great work. And so I delve into it. You have to invest the time to figure out, how do you lay the strategy for success? What is it that you need to do to ensure that you achieve your objectives? So, partnerships is essential. And you talked about a few of them. We've built relationships with these folks down through the years, and I'm so excited that the mayor is committed to ensuring that our neighborhoods are receiving investment and that our youth have access to jobs and opportunities, that we are ensuring that we're taking care of those individuals that can't take care of themselves or need a helping hand, right? I think that's critical. And, I happen to know him, and so I know he wants excellence. He doesn't have to tell me that. I already know. So I pursue it, right? And, the Alderman, Jason Irvin, and by the way, I also have Alderman Walter Burnett, who is the Alderman for the main campus, and they've been amazing, just amazing individuals, who, if I call them at any time, they'll say, whatever you need, President, we're going to be there. We're going to work with you. And they've done that. And, of course, the city treasurer, she was in the legislature before she became the city treasurer. So I knew her then and have worked with her since that time. And she's amazing. So we've worked with these individuals. Congressman Danny Davis is, if we ever had anybody who wrapped their arms around Malcolm X and said, we're going to make sure that y'all are successful, it's Congressman Danny Davis. It's just amazing. So we have those relationships, and you need more than yourself talking about what you're doing. I was there at one point where, you're like, yeah, I don't want to say anything. I'm just doing what I'm doing. No, it's absolutely essential that people know what you are doing and the efforts you're making to make things better. And so that just translated. So we started talking to our partners. If you don't involve the community, you're not going to move it forward. And you need community partners in order for those things to happen, right? So, we have Austin coming together with Brother Shields and the stuff that he's doing there, right? And my dean, Barbara Moschino, works with him and works with his team to make those things happen. We have habilitative services with Donald Dew, who's an amazing leader, been in place for years, right? Just quietly doing his work, making sure he's impacting the community. These are the kind of partners you partner with. Westside United, as you mentioned, and we just gave an award to Aisha Jaco, the executive director, because we've known each other for years and we work together on projects to make sure that we're delivering the goods to our communities and we're giving people opportunities that they might not otherwise have. With us being the center of excellence in healthcare, you got to have clinical partners because, clinical education is a component of our healthcare programs. So we have over 300 partners all throughout the city of Chicago and the suburbs that help us to deliver this instruction and give opportunities for our students to sharpen their skills and to display the fact that they have the tools and the skills necessary to be a practitioner and to go into the workplace. And that's critical to our success.
And you mentioned earlier about Governor Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker. His administration played a great role and still does in supporting WEI. Tell us about his administration, though. What have they done for Malcolm X, or how do they partner with you all?
Listen, the governor has been amazing, as I said already. The investments in MAP, where students are able to get additional assistance other than Pell, which comes from the federal government. You have MAP grants that come from the state. And he has increased the investment, I believe, every year that he has been governor. And it's just been amazing. But he's done so much more. He's partnered with us on many projects. There is a quantum project that is on the south side. The governor to work with our chancellor to partner together where community colleges are at the forefront with the four-year universities. So he's been doing that. He's committed and dedicated to education in every way. I know him, and it was his administration that helped to fund the renovation of Malcolm X College West Campus with a $4 million Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity grant that's helping to fund it. And obviously in my trails and going to Springfield, I've had an opportunity to meet with him, and I've had an opportunity to meet with the speaker, Chris Welch, and he's great. And opportunity to meet with the Senate President, President Harmon, and everybody comes together because when you tell your story, and that's critical, right? You gotta tell your story. And you talk about students, and I'm passionate about my students. Every one of them. I want them to be successful, and they're mine. I don't care whether they're 10 or they're 90, they're mine. It's my responsibility to get them across the finish line, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get them across that finish line. You tell them that story, then they're like, okay, President, what you want, man? We're going to give it to you, okay? Because they're you're bringing them into the living room to see, the eyes of people and the feelings of people and the opportunity that's there, and they're partnering with us to make those things happen.
And this is why you will continue to be successful personally and in your career, because you give from the heart. It's your motive behind it and your care and love for people. And I just really believe you're blessed to be a blessing. You're giving out to others and you're fighting for the people. And I just believe God will reward that. And he has. I believe that. So you're a little angel over there.
I don't know about
doing that work.
just trying to do
I
my
appreciate it. Listen, and I am really learning a lot from you, not only about what you're doing at Malcolm X, but just leadership in general and how to push for things, because I own companies and it's kind of, you always need a mentor. So I'm also picking up a lot of great nuggets from you right now. So many you have dropped and
Wonderful.
I'm picking up. Yeah. So let's talk about the nursing program. What makes the program so effective? And how do the partnerships with healthcare organizations contribute to its success?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is the faculty. I have amazing faculty. And, you'd be surprised that, when I came, there was this negative stigmatism that was attached to the program and to the faculty, and people were saying negative things. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Because when I met, all of our team, it was clear to me that we had a tremendous infrastructure. There needed to be someone to help bridge the gap and bring people together around, a singular focus. And that's what we did. They came together during the period I talked about because we had to prepare for our specialized accreditor to come here and to look at our facilities, but not just look at the facilities, look at our curriculum, our program, how we were going to ensure the success of students, what we do to lay a strong foundation for them to learn and to grow, right? We really worked diligently to ensure that the environment, the atmosphere was set for people to be successful, and worked diligently on that and got accreditation, got it to 2018. They gave us 8 years accreditation from 2017, and we're actually going through a reaccreditation process right now. And in that time, we were able to get tremendous leadership. Tammy Scott Brand is our Dean of Nursing, and she's amazing. Because, nurses, you're dealing with a profession that has to prepare for life and death. And, everything you do has to be precise. It has to be exact. All of my nurses have at least an MSN, every single one of them. And the number is rising. It's close to 30% of my nurses are what's called DNPs, or they have, a terminal degree. They've got a doctorate, a PhD or an EDD. They have it, right? And they're committed to the success of the students. They take it personally when a student doesn't pass. And I mean that. I mean, they will go into a meeting and, if you didn't have some leadership in it, it could be a brawl. Like, they are passionate about success. And so, they want to make sure that every aspect of it. So I knew I needed to understand what they understood in order for me to be a great advocate for them. I, work to get them resources. I work to ensure that they know they have my support, make sure everybody sees me, knows me, that I don't live in an ivory tower. I'm here to ensure that everybody has what they need. And if that's a pat on the back that day, that's somebody, a shoulder to cry on, come on, we got it. Whatever it is that's going to take for us to deliver a world-class program, we're going to do it. And they've done just a tremendous work. And one of the things that I think is critical is that when we're building this facility, we called in all of our partners and said, tell us what we need in order for us to build a tremendous infrastructure first, but then also how do we ensure that we have a program and an environment that is conducive to learning and success. And they gave us all of these ideas, tremendous ideas. So if you come to Malcolm X, you're going to see that we have study spaces that are all over the place, because that was one of the recommendations that came from our partners. You need to ensure that you are providing opportunities for students to study together, gather together. But the other thing that we did is we said, we're teaching them skills, but how do we know that they have mastered those skills? And so we built a virtual hospital on the 8th floor. And we have an operatory, we have a trauma center, we got emergency room, we have peds, we have it all there. And it's wonderful. A quick story I'm going to tell you, because, working with faculty, sometimes it can be a little difficult, okay? So we opened up the virtual hospital, and the faculty didn't want to use it, right? And so we kept encouraging them, trying to get early adopters. Well, the respiratory program was conducting a pre-test, and everybody in the class failed. And they were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And so somebody said, well, why don't we go up to the virtual hospital? Because we have these expensive mannequins that talk and breathe and do all these things, right? So they were like, okay, well, let's go up there. And when the students got up there, they said, oh, this is what we need. We thought we knew what to do. Now we know what to do. You should have brought us up here before. So that instructor went back and sent an email to all of the faculty to say, you got to use the virtual hospital. The students need it, and adoption took place, and it's been wildfire ever since. So, those are all the elements of success that caused that program to be where it's at. As I said, they've got a 91% pass rate over the past several years, and that is above the national averages, and I'm excited for the people we have in that program.
So the 2021 National Healthcare Equality and Disparities Report found that Black, Hispanic, and Asian populations receive worse care than white populations. Health equity is the goal of achieving the best health for all people. So how does the college's healthcare training address such disparities in underserved communities?
Well, listen, way back in 2017, Westside United was born from the mind of officials of Rush University and Rush Medical Center, right? That's where it started at. Mm-hmm. And they called us and wanted to have their meeting here at Malcolm X, and we were at the forefront of that work. And it was amazing. The Chicago Community Trust was here. Dr. Goodman from Rush at the time was the CEO. Vice President David Ansel was here. He's their community person. And, there was a commitment made to impact our communities by addressing the social determinants of health. And one of those is the fact that education is lacking, and also that practitioners are not coming back to their communities to provide that expert information to people to help them to understand why it's important to go for a checkup. There's a fear of the healthcare system. So as we all began to work together, Malcolm X became a principal partner providing education to ensure that people from all of the communities of the city of Chicago had an opportunity to come here and to be trained in top-notch healthcare programs and then go back to their communities and provide that assistance to people that look like them. That's part of the problem, right? We look at somebody and they don't look like us and we don't necessarily trust what they're telling us. That's rooted in some real situations that happened in the past, right? We know about what happened with the Tuskegee, event. And there's all kinds of different things that have happened that people have heard about or their relatives were involved in. And it really has positioned them to say, hey, I don't trust this. We've got to build that trust back. And we've done that. And it's that lack of trust that causes you to have these disparities, right? So the life expectancy rate where Malcolm X is at is 79, okay? And we're located near Damon, all right? But just 10 minutes down the road at Halstead, where I live, right? The life expectancy rate is 91, a 12-year difference, right? Why? Because the people in this community have not had people that look like them to say, hey, is what's happening? Okay, you need to go do this, or you need to go do it, and then be able to trust that information. And I must tell you that I've had that own experience myself. I had a doctor who, they said my A1C levels were high, and the doctor said, okay, I'm going to give you metformin, right? And I had been in the hospital, and I came home, and for 5 days, I was a zombie. I could not do anything. The metformin was taking away my ability to be a person. My faculties were gone. I was telling my body to do things, and it was saying no. And I was getting scared, and I'm like, oh, what is going on? This is not me. And finally, on that 5th day, I said, David, what are you doing? Get rid of that medication. I threw everything into the garbage. And the next day I went to work and I was great. Right now, listen, everybody check with your doctor first.
Right,
Don't
right.
go
Disclaimer.
Don't just go in, throw your medication away because you heard President Sanders say, no, don't do that now. Okay, you check with your doctor. Okay, but but I knew that was the thing that was bothering me, and I went to the doctor and he said, well, what happened with the medication? What's going on with the metformin? I said, well, I didn't take that because it wasn't working for me. And he said, look, I'm the doctor. You do what I tell you. I said, effective immediately, you are no longer my doctor. Okay. And then I talked to some folks and I said, hey, I need a holistic doctor. And I found a really great doctor who told me what the issues were, put me on a different medication that worked. My A1C level is down. I'm almost off of all medication, and I'm feeling great. Lost 30 pounds. I feel great. So, certainly a success story, but it came about from me making a decision about my own health care and about my own situation that needed to be made. And because I was, more aware and more educated than, some, I was able to go in that direction. That's what's needed in order to change these communities. Malcolm X is committed to that. We're doing that. The diversity in my campus is absolutely amazing. Nursing program has about 40% African American, 39% Hispanic, 10% white, 6% Asian, right? Right here. Okay, so the diversity is in our programs. Typically, when they're coming to me, they're going back to their communities to provide expert care in the hospitals and medical networks and to their communities.
Let's move to national policy and the impact on these changes. So, with the new federal administration, there have been mentions of disbanding the Department of Education. How could such a move impact programs like Workforce Equity Initiative and federal financial aid for underserved students?
Well, it certainly could. There's no question about that. The Department of Education has been, a guiding light for higher ed K through 12 for years, and I think we've made tremendous progress. Are there problems? Are there situations that need to be addressed? Absolutely, and no question about that. But I don't believe we're at the point where we need to dismantle everything. And it's just my opinion. And I get it that we have a new administration that's coming through and they have different views on that. We hope for an opportunity to dialogue. As I do every February, we go out to Washington, D.C. and have a conversation about that. But I must tell you that I am enthusiastic about the fact that we've been making tremendous gains in Black male enrollment and Black enrollment overall. Our Hispanic enrollment has risen. In fact, every single race and ethnicity in our college has gone up in enrollment. We will have the largest enrollment in over 20 years. We've also seen gains in retention. We've seen gains in our gateway courses, English and math, with Black and Hispanic students rising to the next level of success in those areas. And we've got a goal to get to 55% of those students passing English and math in the first year. And I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Somehow, we're going to be able to come up with a way to move it forward. And of course, I'm going to be advocating for that. Be at the top of my game and letting people know it's absolutely essential that we continue the investments in these communities that have been underserved and underinvested. And then my encouragement comes from the fact that I believe we have a tremendous governor who has a tremendous job in investing in education, and I think he's going to continue to do that. And it's going to be tough because we're going into a fiscal year where we already are talking about deficits, and if you read the tea leaves, there's not a lot of money out there, right? You're going to have to really focus on programs, workforce programs, I believe, where your investment is bringing dollars on the back end, right? So if they invest in it, you're going to see the dollars coming back in, state taxes that come from your paychecks, right? So there's a win-win, right? And finally, I think that, I have a mayor and a chancellor that are committed to our students. Now, resources are not unlimited. And we've got to manage our resources effectively and get the best out of those dollars that we have. But if you look at what we have done and the commitments we've made to academic supports, students have 24/7 access to mental health services, which was unheard of a few years ago, but they have it now, right? We have food pantries in every single campus. Every single campus has that. We have advisors, and we've got OMD, 1 million degrees, that is working with our advisors to provide mentorship for our students and to give them stipends that allow them to be incentivized to do the work. But those incentives are also addressing any kind of issues they might have. Need food, or they need transportation, or those stipends are helping to address other issues that they may have. So these are all things that we have done as a system to address the needs of our students. I believe that's going to continue. And that gives me great pause in saying that there's going to be this dramatic shift. And the last thing I'll mention is when I go to Washington or I go to Springfield, I don't just go to one political party. I go to all the people. Okay? Because it doesn't matter to me how we get the money. I just need it. So I'm going to go to whoever, I'm going to talk to them. Hey, I need your help. You got some dollars. Come on, help me. Look at what we're doing. And I think, that has helped me. Virginia Fox, I know her. I've gone to her team several times. She's going to be head of the education committee. I might be putting this out there now, but I want her to know I'm coming to see you, because we need some dollars for our students, and we're doing great work. Come see what we're doing. I think you have to be that way. This is not about politics. This is about people. At the forefront of it, everything that we do is people. And I want to make sure that every person we touch has the ability to be successful.
Great. I'm so happy to hear that there is a plan and an approach to it. And listening to you throughout this whole podcast interview, I know you have a plan. I know you're going to be in some folks' face.
We got a plan now.
You got a plan.
We ain't going to fail. We got to go forward.
That's right. And it doesn't matter who's in the White House, because let's just, for example, that top 1% of wealthy folks up top, they make money no matter who's in the White House. So we have to operate that way in our businesses, in whatever we do in our leadership. We have to think that way. There's always a way to continue to be very successful.
But listen, there's no shame in my game, right?
No.
So, I'll say, Brother Donald, President, hey, man, I need your help. Come on over here, see what we got going on. Come on over here. That's what you doing. I'm bringing the man that got some money. I want him to come on. Ain't you got a friend, Elon Musk? Tell him come on too, all right? Come on over here, everybody, all y'all. Come on, man. I ain't got no shame in my game, because, it's all about people. I feel a little funny, but I'm serious. Yes. It's about them. And you got to go where it's at. If that's where the resource is at, let me tell you my story. Let me tell you what we're trying to do. And you don't never know who will come in and be that angel investor that says, you know what? I like what you're doing. Here's the money you need. Keep on going.
Yes, absolutely. That's why you have to speak up. So yep. Very good. Very good. So we're coming up on the end of the podcast. I'm almost sad to end this conversation with you. I'm enjoying it so much, as you have no idea. So for those inspired by today's discussion, what are the best ways for listeners to support Malcolm X College's mission and get involved in its programs? And how can prospective students learn more about educational opportunities and initiatives offered at Malcolm X College?
Well, listen, I'm going to start with the students. You can dial 312-850-7000 right now. We'll take you in. If you can't get here, we just bought a brand new bus. You're going to look for it. It's black. It's got some red. Looks like flower petals on it. You just look for that. It's going to say Malcolm X. We'll come get you, bring you back here so that you can register here for classes. That's what we do. We're going to give an opportunity for you. As I told you, we have workforce equity that allows you, but we've got so many other opportunities. We have our STAR Scholarship that students can come here free of charge for 3 years, pays all of your education, after you have applied for FAFSA. We have all kinds of grants and scholarships that are available for our students. We have programs that are here that are going to help you get to a job, a living wage job. That's here. And we are committed to your success. So come on by. We will take care of you. For those of you who want to help us out, if you want to volunteer for our programs to help out, come on by. You can call that same number. Tell them you want to be a volunteer. If you want to do things in the community, tell somebody about the great things we're doing at Malcolm X. We're taking Black men to Africa. We took 71 last year in order for them to gain their identity and to understand their value and their worth. And they came back, and the data is showing that the program is working. We're going to take the last 29 this year, but we're taking everybody. We're taking everybody, women, men, old, young, white, Hispanic, Black, Asian, whoever. If you want to come on. We got it for you. We got programs, we've got events and different things. If you went to Ford University because you thought that was the only place you could have a study abroad program, let me tell you, you missing out. Come on over here to Malcolm X. We're doing it right now. We're taking people. We're going to go to Ghana this year. We're going to go to Paris, France. We're going to Lisbon, Portugal. And then we're going to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania to give students that richness, that culture, that opportunity to see things that they've never seen before and to identify with themselves and understand who they are so they can come back and be even greater citizens of this world. And so you all can come and participate in helping us out and all of those different things, but tell somebody about the things that's going on here. If you want to donate, we want you to donate. I know we just had Giving Tuesday and you say it's past. Hey, every day is a day to donate. You can donate to come on to our website. You can donate. We'll take it in because our students need help. And, you never know who's going to help us to help our students to be successful. And we're committed to that because these students are great. Our students are great. In the city of Chicago, our students are great.
As 2025 marks a new year of beginnings, what final message would you like to share with our audience about the role of education and cultural enlightenment in uniting communities, honoring heritage, and inspiring future generations to build a brighter future?
Hey, listen, there's greatness in everybody. And one of the things that I think we have failed to do is to realize the richness of people, right? So, we've got to get out of our cubby holes and stop being so polarized and get out of this ideology that says, oh, if you don't look just like me or act just like me, that you're not a good person. Get out of here. That is not true, right? There are good people in all walks of life. And we got to find the commonality that allows us to live together and to breathe together and make things better. And then we need to get people to get away from these long held beliefs, right? Because, people believe things just because they believe them, right? It's kind of like when you were growing up and, Johnny said, I don't like peas. Well, Johnny, how you know you like peas? I just don't like them. Have you ever tasted them? No. Well, how you know you don't like them? Okay. We have these beliefs about people. Have you ever talked to a black person? No, but I don't like them. Why don't you like them? What's the problem? It doesn't make sense, right? A lot of stuff don't make sense. So we need to have those conversations, right? I think the greatest thing that ever happened to me is my mother, because she saw something in me. She sent me to Emmanuel Lutheran. It was a Lutheran school. I was a minority in a Lutheran school, but I got to see that there's not a whole bunch of bad white people. Oh my God, they're gonna come and get us. No, there are good people and there are bad people from all walks of life. And I got to see that. My mother wanted to give me a great education, and that's exactly what she did. And so I don't carry that. I'm not jaded by that. I believe that. I also believe, though, in investing in the people that need the help the most. And we're absolutely going to do that.
Well, thank you, President Sanders, for sharing your insights into Malcolm X College's vision. Your leadership is truly inspiring. As we've heard today, education is a powerful tool for transforming lives. Malcolm X College is significantly impacting education and workforce equity in Chicago, particularly in health sciences and high demand fields. Your continued dedication is helping to build a more equitable future, and we sincerely appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much for just existing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. We also want to thank the state and community leaders whose support helps drive these initiatives. Together, these efforts create more opportunities for underserved communities and empower future generations. For those interested in supporting Malcolm X College's mission, I encourage you to get involved and contribute to this transformative work by exploring the programs and partnerships discussed today. Whether you're a prospective student, local business owner, or someone passionate about making a difference, there are countless ways to contribute to Malcolm X College's mission and help advance education and workforce development. We hope today's conversation inspired and informed you. If you're new to our channel, or want to hear more stories like this, please like this video and subscribe to the Black Empowerment Hub podcast. Your support helps us continue to bring you impactful guests and essential messages. Click the bell icon to be notified about future episodes where we highlight individuals and initiatives that are changing the world. Thank you for joining us today. Stay empowered, stay involved, and always remember, real change begins with us, within our communities. See you next time.